Welcome to StockInvest.us, a world of trading ideas. We remind you that trading involves a high risk of losing money, and that you should speak with a financial advisor before buying or selling any securities. By using the information you agree and are held liable for your own investment decisions.
Hi and welcome to StockInvest.us podcast for week 37. It's Jim, and once again it's these cases where I'm not able to make the podcast in studio. Right now I'm sitting in the car and it's raining outside, but for more than 1.5 years I've been giving you these podcasts every Monday before market opens, and I plan to do that today as well. Last week I was right in many things, but also wrong in some. I was wrong about the market. Market fell, as you know. I thought it would go sideways. But for stock picks, I picked Moderna, and that was one super hit. I was able to get in very early in the morning at 41.65 just to see it bounce really hard up during the week, ending at $50.16. So huge profit on AMC as is. But we will get back to these trading tips for the week a little bit later. If you're a new listeners, this is how we'll do it. I will tell you what I think about the market for the week ahead of us. Then I will look into some of the major tech stocks, because analyzing these stocks will give us an idea about the market as such. And last week I told you, for instance, that I thought Apple would end the week at $150, ending at $148.97. I also told you that I thought Bitcoin will go up. Well, Bitcoin fell, ending the week Friday at $46,000. We will get there, but after these analyses, I will give you the trading tips for the weeks, ending the podcast with a short glimpse into the portfolio. And for the week ahead of us, well, what can we expect? As I said, the market is reacting down. There is really no good support before 14,800. So that's the level where things should, by all means, pick up. The things to watch out, because you have to watch out for some of the major news, and there are some heavy news coming this week. On Tuesday, we will have the consumer price index numbers, giving an idea of the inflation. The expectation is that for August, the price will increase 0.4% month over month. But we know for many months the consensus been very wrong, and I think there is a fair chance that will happen for year over year. The consensus is that the prices will be rising 5.3%. If these come in very negative, it will be a hard toll on the market. So these are the numbers that you want to watch on Tuesday, consumer price index numbers. If they come in on expectations, or even better than expectations, we can have a really nice rebound in the market. But it doesn't stop with the inflation numbers, because there is also spending numbers, and these will come in on Thursday, where we will get the retail numbers. And just to remind you, for instance, in July, these numbers was 3 times less than what was expected. People simply saved money, did not spend as much money. How will it be for August? Well, we will know on Thursday. So you want to watch the Tuesday and the Thursday numbers, and I think that on these 2 days there will be volatility in the market, especially just before and after the release of these numbers. So that could be possible trading days where you have the volatility and you could do day trading. Other news that's coming this week is Oracle will release their numbers after market closes today, and before the morning open, Fuel Cell will release their quarter numbers. So you can keep an eye on these, especially Fuel Cell could be interesting. The other thing to watch out for is, of course, the gold, and the 10-year treasury yield. And last week I said I thought oil will go down. but I was wrong. Oil is currently trading at $70, up around $3 from last week. I still, as I said in podcast after podcast, I'm very optimistic about oil. I was super optimistic when oil was 20, saying that it should easily go to 50, later 60 and 70. And as I said, I think during 2021 it will hit $100 high, but just not now. I think oil still is too expensive. I think it should go below $60, but right now it's trading 70, and it could just continue upwards. It's a little bit about supply demand, but OPEC increased the supply quite drastically. So I think that we should see a situation where oil is going a little back, but doesn't seem like it right now. And being off for a few weeks, well, but as I said, I think oil will go down towards just below the 60 level before continuing upwards. The other thing that I like to keep an eye on is the gold prices, because they reflect somewhat the insecurity in market. And last week gold fell a little bit, ending at 1,791. My bet is that gold for sure will go to 2,000. I actually increased the price to 2,500 if you look a year ahead. But I'm pretty sure that gold will go up to $2,000. But first we need to see the 10-year treasury yield, which measures the inflation, to increase. When this increases, right now it's been stable week after week. And it was actually unchanged last week, ending at 134. When it starts to move, I think we will see movements also in the gold price. These are somewhat correlated. And that just brings me into the few stock tips. Just quick recap what I said. I think that the markets will fall this week. There is no support before 14,800. It could start with a green day or 2-3 red days and bounce up by the end of the week, especially if these numbers are good. But in general, I expect that we might see markets down to 14,800 before it turns up. So if it hits 14,800, let's say very bad numbers tomorrow, it could bounce up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, for instance, and the week overall could be a little bit better. But in general, a negative forecast for a week ahead of us. Last week I told you I believed Apple would start to correct, that it would go upwards to 157 and said it could be high. And Apple went up, but also down as expected. I had a target for $150. Ending the week at 148.97, I was only off by $1.03, so it was quite spot on. And looking at the chart, everything indicates that the stock should move a little bit down, but I think it might bounce up again. So for the week as such, I don't see the huge development in Apple. Of course, intra-week, it could be some dollars up or some dollars down. My bet is it will be a few dollars down before going up. I think that Apple will end the week at $151, so more or less unchanged for Apple. And as I said last week, I see this as total natural. I don't see anything really scary yet. We still have to fall more. If its market breaks 14,800, keep falling, then things starts to be more scary, but not right now. And Microsoft, which I said I was more negative to Microsoft than I was to Apple. I had a target for Microsoft at $297, ending the week at $295.71. So I was off by $1.29 on Microsoft. And looking at the chart, I think it will just continue downwards. Could do the same thing like Apple. It just goes quite far down. Could even be 285, 283, 84, 85. I don't know for sure. But I also think that it will bounce a little bit up by the end of the week. So the target for Microsoft will be 292. And Tesla, which is such a hard stock to predict because it's a relatively volatile stock and it behaves exactly like it wants to behave. It was on a very good roll, but then the red week hit, so Microsoft was not able to get back to the target, which I have at 780, actually ending the week at 736. The direction is good, but right now, since it did not manage last week, the forecast for the week ahead of us is a little weaker. So for the first time in weeks, I will actually reduce the target a little bit. I would say that Tesla by end of the week will be somewhere close to 730. Could actually, because of the situation in the market and how things are building up, it could fall all the way down to 700, bounce up then to 730. I would say any buy around 700 is probably a very good buy. Because in general, I think the stock should continue further up. And as I said before, 800 for sure, could even be 900. After that, things is a total different story. GameStop last week, I said I believed GameStop would fall back, and the week at $195. Actually ended a little bit below that at 190.41. So I was a little bit negative off on the GameStop, but the direction was correct. And looking at the chart, looking at the situation, I think these things will continue. And for the week as such, I have a target of GameStop for $181. As I told you before, the scary situation about GameStop is that the lack of support. And things can go very bad very fast. And sadly, it fell back last week, not able to continue to push upwards to make new support levels below. Things got even a little bit more scary, in my opinion, last week, and this will continue in this week. So that's why I keep a target for $181 for GameStop. And then it's the crypto. Bitcoin, I said I believe Bitcoin would end the week at 60,000. I actually increased the target because it was getting above 50,000, 51,000 trading at, and then 50 became a very nice support level because it was struggling with 50,000 for so long. Didn't manage to do that. Actually, everything was looking very good. Then it took a nice down to 45,000. I think I even saw Bitcoin trading at 44,000. Personally, I have used the opportunity to buy a little bit more crypto. And the reason is very simple. It is totally oversold on the relative strength index. Everything is indicating that things should go upwards. But market is market. And even though the technical pictures say that everything should bounce up, things can get pretty more ugly. It doesn't take much before you get a scare in and things can fall very hard, very fast. So you should keep that in mind. There is no guarantees. Yes, I've been very correct about Bitcoins for months after months. It was wrong last week. And I might be very wrong this week as well. It may just continue downwards. Right now it's struggling around 45,000. Not able to get any real momentum to push back up. But technically, looking at the charts, being oversold, having this reaction downwards, indicate that it should push upwards. But now 60,000 is not likely within a week. So actually I have reduced the target to 52,000. I still believe crypto will go upwards. I even increased my little gamble on it. First time I bought crypto after the major last correction was 30,000. As you know, and now I put in a little bit more. And for Dogecoin, which I've been very optimistic for Dogecoin, ending the week at 26,000. I even got some Dogecoin last week and increased my position a little bit more. But it is struggling. And right now, I have had a target for 40,000. It seems like it might go, it will have a hard time to find 40 cents anytime soon. So I have reduced the targets to 29 cents for the week. But as I said, I believe it will go up. I bought Dogecoin at 20 cents, sitting with 30% profit as we speak. And of course I can sell it, but I actually got a little more Dogecoin because I think it should go upwards. So that's crypto. You should be aware of the following situation. As long as it doesn't manage to break up to 50,000 for Bitcoins, for instance, this will become a very, very huge resistance levels and may actually eventually become too much, forcing a huge reaction down in the crypto. The chances was less last week. They have increased this week, and they will increase every day. Bitcoin is traded under under $50,000, down in the low 40s. And if we get very bad stock market where liquidity dries up, you can expect huge falls in crypto as well. I was sure that crypto would go up to 60,000 for sure. Bitcoin, maybe even 70, could go as high as 100. But right now there are small signals that the markets are struggling in general. And as I said, once the liquidity dries up, things can get very bad. And as I said before, in so many of my podcasts, I expect this is the last rally in Nasdaq for some time. I was not sure if it would stop at 15,000, 16,000, or even go as high as 20,000. Are we at the end of the Nasdaq rally? Are we heading for a major correction? You cannot really say until some of the major support levels are broken, which was 14,800 for Nasdaq. If that is breaking, it can fall straight down to 14,000. If these things happen, it will affect crypto for sure. And that brings me to the trading tips. And every week I've been giving you 2 stocks which I want to buy. This week I will not give you 2 stocks to buy, simply because I am in too many open positions. And let's just start with Diffusion Pharmaceuticals, which I bought 2 weeks back, I think, at 55 cents. I like what I see, so I keep this position open. Zynga, which I bought at 864, it's currently trading at 880. Also like what I see, so I keep this position open as well. SQ, which I bought last week, started very good. As I expected, it started having problems on Monday. I said I wanted to get in low. I was hoping for a low entry. So I got in at 265. Things were for a little while looking good, but then it just kept falling. So it was actually cut by stop loss at 255. I think it will I think it will bounce up, but you see, stop loss, that's why it is. So I had to take a loss on SQ. But the other stock tips, Moderna, which I bought at 411.25, went straight up to 449.32. So that was such a good buy, and everything indicates that it will continue to push upwards. I also keep AMC alive. As I told you last week, I have a trailing stop loss for this stock. Bought at 41.65, currently trading at 50.16. So with all these positions open and knowing that the markets might continue downwards, I do not plan to invest more. I will only invest more if I sell some of these open positions. You have to remember that in addition to this, I have an oil portfolio. I have this other portfolio that we follow. So these are just trading stocks, and I don't want to increase my general exposure in the market. Since Christmas, I had my positions around anything from 45 to 55% of my assets in the market, because I have not had that huge belief it would go up. I didn't find the risk reward attractive enough, and now it's for sure not attractive enough to increase the assets that I keep in the market. So these are the positions that I have open: AMC, DNF, Zynga, and Moderna, 4 of them. I will keep them open this week. And for AMC is trailing stop loss, for Moderna is trailing stop loss. Zynga and Diffusion Pharmaceuticals, I don't have a stop loss. These are very volatile stocks, so I keep a closer eye on these positions. And that brings us to the very end of this podcast, recorded in a car. Sorry for that. Next week, hopefully, we'll be back in studio as usual. The portfolio did very well for a few stocks. Ur Energy did very well, but also Arbutus did very good. The other stocks were somewhat unchanged, a little fall. Diffusion Pharmaceuticals, which I also have in the high risk portfolio, was more or less unchanged. In general, the portfolio increased by 3.83%, so it was not a super weak, but still good. And it was especially Arbutus pulling the train upwards. And I think that high-risk portfolio, as I told you before, it's getting close to an end where I will start shut down this position, especially if the markets are not able to get back on track. I will not sit in high-risk stocks for sure. So that was the portfolio. Was actually the podcast. We are 20 minutes in. Usually it lasts 30 minutes, but I don't have my computer, so I'm not able to give you all the proper details. As usual, I will wish for you a green week. I hope you will do some very good trades. Remember these few tips and tricks. Buy on red days, sell on greens. If the markets have a very red day, it's usually a good buying opportunity if you plan to buy. Most people, due to psychology, they buy on green days where stock already is up. So getting stocks with a good discount, if you plan to trade them anyway, is always the best option. It's a very good rule. I follow it very strictly. The other thing is use stop loss. If you don't have the option at your trader, at least put it into your mental awareness the level where you want to sell. A good thing to do is when you buy a stock, use list. Find some stocks that you want to trade. Do a little due diligence, dig into the news, read the news about the company. You can use Financial, whatever service you want. But read a little bit about the company so you know a little bit more before you actually buy the company. And before you buy it, put the level where would you quit your losses if it's going down, because selling is so hard. But if you're mentally prepared, you have, for instance, a certain limit, it will make you that will make the decision so much easier, and you will get out, because bad can get really bad, believe me. If you've only been in green markets, haven't seen red markets, well, bad can really get bad. So cut your losses early, ride the winners as long as they go up, and hopefully you will just keep increasing the value of your portfolio. And that's the whole point of giving this podcast, is trying to help you doing exactly that. Reduce your losses, increase your gains, and that the overall will be positive. Have a very good week. Make it green. Do some good decisions. And we will speak in just a week. Bye.
That's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.